What is up, everybody, and welcome back to 2 Times the Grind. What's up, Pete?
Home theater edition.
Yeah, we thought we'd just mix it up a little bit. I still have a few bits and bobs upstairs from the face tournament, and honestly, like, we're kind of beat and we didn't want to bring everything down. It's a lot of stuff and it takes a lot of time to move it up. So we were like, you know what? We got everything we need to, like, honestly film, but it just not the table and chairs and stuff like that. So we were like, let's just do it here and have like a real chill one before we head on to Dallas.
Yeah, moving a table up and down 2 flights of stairs is just...
It's not fun.
No, it's not.
It's just not fun.
No.
And plus, it's just kind of fun to switch it up, isn't it? And I think you guys will appreciate, like, doing it here. You can see some killer movie posters above us. Massive fan of Indiana Jones. Any Indiana Jones fans out there? Shout out to you guys. Obviously, Marvel, the Avengers behind us as well on Endgame. And then... I mean, that's just an absolute classic. Back to the Future.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely amazing. I think that's number 2. Yeah, it's part 2. I mean, they're all incredible, but it's just a cool poster. We actually have other posters around us, but...
John Wick over there. Just saw John Wick 4 the other day.
We actually did see John Wick 4, not yesterday, day before.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah. I love
No spoilers.
I love John Wick.
Just in case people haven't watched it.
I love it.
Love John Wick. Absolutely
One
incredible.
of the few action films that keep me just
on your toes?
in the whole time.
Yeah.
Even though
it
I like...
just doesn't get boring.
Yeah.
Ever.
Even though I feel like I like laugh at like the way he moves sometimes, but...
The way he runs.
But I respect that. Keanu Reeves is a boss, though. He does it all himself.
Is that not the way he runs?
Yeah.
Literally incredible.
But he is a boss because he does it all himself, doesn't he?
That's one of the things I think... The second I learned that, which I think was after the first movie, I really enjoyed the first movie, but the second I learned that Keanu Reeves does his own stunts, moves, fighting, everything, like just everything, in one take as well, for the most part, I have so much more respect for that movie. Yeah. Like, you can't really go wrong with it now because it's
pretty
incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
And for his age as well.
Damn, roasted.
What? No, it's not roasted. It's tippable.
I'm just joking.
It's so good.
I'm just joking.
It's so good.
I'm kidding.
Today, folks, we haven't actually gone out and bought coffee in a while. And honestly, we were kind of talking about it. It would be disrespectful to not continue trying the fresh bags that Paper Street have sent us. So we're going to keep trying them because there were 7 bags. So we want to try another bag today from Paper Street Coffee. I mean, they smell incredible and we just want to, obviously use the beans while they're still fresh. And this one is called Marla. It's a single origin Sidama. I think it's Sidama, Ethiopia, light roast. And it has notes of strawberry, blueberry, and dark chocolate. We're actually drinking this black today. Black, no sweetener, no creamer.
Been on our health grind, haven't we?
We really have. Yeah. Entertain everyone while I take a sip.
Be entertained. I did it.
Are you not entertained? That is really nice. Holy smokes. I tell you what.
They get the notes.
I can taste notes so much more with black coffee without any sweetener as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Black coffee is always going to have more, but I think Paper Street Coffee, I think they kind of get the notes through a lot compared to some other ones. Would you say the same thing?
I don't know if it's like, what's that effect called? Placebo. I don't know if it's the placebo effect where like you're telling me those notes are in so I can taste. Like I feel like I can taste strawberry and blueberry. I don't think I can taste dark chocolate yet. Maybe that'll come later. But I don't know if that's just like my head now telling me like that's what you can taste.
You know what we need to do one time? Whether it be on the podcast or not.
Blind taste test?
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Whether it's on the podcast or not, it would be fun to do.
Wouldn't it be really fun for us to like
nuts.
brew like four different coffees the same way, put them in little shot glasses, and each one of us try and like taste what's in them and see if we get it right, and I'll like write it down on little cards and we can turn the cards over. That would be quite a fun little thing to do. Cool. Let's do that at some point.
Kitchen edition.
On today's podcast, folks, we're obviously discussing welcome back. Sorry about last week. Not sorry about last week. We've been really good. But we are in grind mode. We are in like getting ready to go. Honestly, to actually sit down and do this podcast, we've had to really put our like foot down to get this done, because obviously we're leaving in a couple of days. We're filming this a touch early so that we can get it out in time, but like, it can get really difficult, can't it? Like,
it's just the closer you get to the event, the more the busier we are and the more stuff we got going on and, just all the stuff everyone already knows. So we're trying to be consistent with it. We were like really struggling last week, weren't we? So then we were like, you know what? Just to not add stress to our plate here, let's skip a week. We'll make sure we get the following week out. And then hopefully, assuming all travel goes as planned, we'll be back in New Jersey here on Monday.
So we can film.
We should be able to get it out again on Thursday.
Yeah,
a little post one.
And just like it can be really difficult, especially like in the lead up to stuff. And not just that, it's honestly, it's like, okay, let's say we'd filmed right after your scrims when you're exhausted, and let's say we're filming till 1 a.m. Yeah. And we just were like, bugger it, let's do it. I was about to swear then. Bugger it, let's do it. It's honestly the processing time it takes. Like, we're filming on a 4K camera. It's obviously a long podcast. Like, we're going like sub an hour, So like, it's a very long process to then edit it. And it's not even just the editing itself, it's the process time. Like, it's the export time, it's the YouTube upload time. It's so
gotta hope Adobe Premiere doesn't crash on you.
Adobe Premiere, right?
Lots in a battle right now.
Premiere Pro hates me. Like, I'm not joking.
Did I say that right?
I think it hates, you said Premiere, but it's
Adobe
cool.
Premiere.
It's cute.
Oh,
it's actually
Premiere
really
Pro.
cute.
Gotcha.
I call it Premiere. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Premiere. No, it's Premiere. It's Premiere Pro. It hates me. Anyway, this is such a boring conversation. Anyway, so yes, sorry about last week.
LAN coming up.
But we're here now with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, LAN is coming up. Really excited. Got some really exciting topics to talk about, which I've actually been saving.
For this one
before. So let's talk about it. Like, before we get into some of the kind of deeper things about LAN, and we're actually going to share quite a lot from our perspectives of when we go to LAN and what it's kind of like from our perspectives. Let's just talk about the competition real quick, because obviously, like, that's what we're all here for, to tune in, and you're obviously a competitor. How you feeling about it? Obviously, it's like a couple days away now.
Yeah, feeling good. I think that we are trending the way that I kind of thought we would be heading into it. I think we're more and more on the same page. With that being said, I think every team is just naturally getting better, like from the start of the season to now. So I think every team is just getting better and better.
They really are.
Yeah, and I have the big goal of having us kind of in our final form by the time we reach October.
Obviously Worlds.
I think just feeling confident going into this one, and hopefully we can have a lot of our hard work pay off, and just learn what we need to keep working on going forward.
Obviously, there's like different feelings about LAN tournaments compared to like online tournaments, even when online tournaments kind of do mean something, in terms of seeding and stuff like that. What's like the mental process like for you, especially surrounding LAN? Like in the couple of days, that you're coming up to it with your team, especially like in scrims and stuff, like you obviously can still work on things and can still kind of like perfect things and go over things, but realistically, you're not going to make massive fundamental changes a couple of days before LAN that you haven't then put the work and practice into for a couple of weeks against teams, right? So what's like the mental attitude like for you, thinking like, okay, we are where we are, we can keep going over things, keep trying to perfect, but this is kind of where we're at.
Where you're going to be, right?
Yeah. What's that like process like for you as a competitor?
Honestly, like you said, you're not going to make any big changes. But for the most part, I think from where we are now, I don't really foresee big changes being a thing anymore for us. I think for the most part, we're going to be pretty consistent. We emphasize teamwork a lot more and trying to play as a team more. Not that we didn't do that in Charlotte, but we've talked about it just a little bit more. Our bad habit was being a lot more individual based. And that's kind of gone away more and more for us, and I think for other teams as well. So yeah, just a lead up is just touch up on game plans. You just kind of go over stuff a little bit extra, just in terms of being like, okay, like this is one setup, like this is really what we're trying to accomplish, and it's not like it's a big change, but it's just kind of like re-emphasizing what you already know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
If you're in a setup, you're like, hey, this is really going to be our setup. Like when we're in this, like we're going to make sure we don't do this.
Yeah.
We need to do that, and just kind of, just say all the things that, I think it's hard when you have such a big break, kind of like we've had, or the last LAN tournament we had was in February. It's just hard to get on every single day and emphasize those things. You can get caught going through the motions a lot. I think as events get closer, I think that kind of changes.
I mean, it makes sense. I think that's such a great like buzzword, is just emphasizing things you've been working on. Like that makes complete sense. And it'll be the same for like a lot of teams as well, just trying to emphasize, unless like something's really gone wrong and you're like, oh no, we really need to switch something up.
It's crazy with events because you never really know, like until you go and you know, like you do okay online or whatever, and you go to the event and it's like, hey, it could work out great and things can go better than you planned, or they can go worse than you planned. And then if they go worse, you just kind of hit the drawing board and be like, okay, what went wrong, you know?
True.
But for the most part, you don't know until you get there. It's always it's a little bit different nowadays. I would say you know a little bit more now. Back in the day, it was like you literally didn't know, because like online back in the day used to be, we're talking like Halo 2, Halo 3 days. I mean, good luck. You know, that was completely different from one to the other. Whereas now it's still bad, but it's a little bit closer. Yeah. You know, gaming is taking a big turn. I
have some questions here that were asked a while ago, but obviously wanted to save them for LAN. And funny enough, they actually come from your mum.
Okay. Trey.
They come from Trey. She's amazing, and she thinks of really great stuff because she has to listen to us talk about Halo and our careers often, very, very often. So she's very invested, and so is Paulo, his dad. But she asks us to talk a little bit about the preparation. Now, we talked about like the mindset preparation already, which I wanted to know. But in terms of like physical preparation, like what goes into preparing for LAN for both of us, and how much, like for example, for you, how much does your team practice? Like, do you practice more? Actually, do you find practicing a tiny bit less is helpful because you're not overthinking things? You know, like how do you, you know, we'll start with the team stuff because then we'll talk a bit more about individual. But as a team, in terms of practice schedule and stuff, does it stay the same or does it differ, would you say?
It kind of changes depending, you know, like look for us, I've been really fortunate. We've had the same roster for a long period of time. Yeah. So for us, it always stayed, we just played every day. That was always our thing. We just played every single day. It didn't really matter necessarily against who. We just had to play to be like, by the time we got to the event, if we played every day, like usually we were really, really good. Obviously our track record speaks for itself. With picking up John, it's been a little bit of a different learning curve where I think with playing with Renegade, we still try to play every day, but we also need to be careful to not, like I kind of used the word earlier of just not going through the motions
right
a little bit, because when we, with this team now, go through the motions, I think we can get caught developing bad habits. And with our old team, we just had it's just the transition you make between a player like Lethal and a player like Renegade. Renegade's a lot more, you know, we've gone over and over and over again. I don't got to keep saying it, but you know, he's just a little bit more of that like high intensity slayer. He wants to be really fast and wants to do this really quick and stuff like that. So it's just about trying to understand what he's been wanting to do, what we want to do, blend those two, and then keep that as the game plan no matter what. So to answer the question, it stays the same. We try to play every day, but we do try to be a little bit more meticulous of like, we don't just get on just to play. Yeah, you know, it's like, okay, like, hey, we have a scrimber so-and-so today. Let's really try to work on this. And then if we have an off day, hey, enjoy the off day. You know, we don't necessarily need to play on our off day. With our old team, I definitely felt like if we had an off day and came back, we were like significantly, like just not super significant, but just enough where we're like, oh, we're a little rusty. Yeah. You know?
No, I feel you. I'm just going to admit something real quick. I was pretty distracted throughout the whole thing because you look really cute.
Thank you.
You just had a haircut today and a beard trim.
I'm wearing a hat.
I know, but I can see it. And it just it's pretty, it's good.
Any different prep for you leading up to the event? I mean, I know the answer.
Yes.
To this, but yeah. I know the answer, but
I get my hair done. Yeah. No, but honestly, that is part of it as a entertainer,
broadcast
as
talent.
A broadcaster. Yeah. Obviously, your physical image is something that's important. Like to be looking well, healthy, you gotta look presentable,
stream.
Exactly. Yeah. So I do get my hair done. Literally in time for LAN every time. Shout out Lex, who does my hair, one of my best friends. I'm very fortunate she comes to the house and we do it in the kitchen. And it was only last night that I was lying across our kitchen counter with my head in our sink while she was rinsing my hair out.
Yeah, that's funny.
So obviously like physical preparation, just getting stuff ready like that. I would say like we up our fitness quite a lot as well. Like, I mean, we're doing really great with our fitness in general. Anyway, we work out pretty much every single day, maybe one off day a week. And actually our off days usually consist of like a very light workout. either like a longer walk with the dogs or just like mobility or something like that, like we've been doing, which we're trying to get better at, like just not doing nothing, not doing, you know, just having something to do basically on an off
like when
day.
you have dogs, you kind of always are doing a little something.
Absolutely.
Compared to like when, you know, I was a gamer before, it was like you're just sitting down all day doing nothing. So yeah.
But then preparation really for me, like aside all the physical preparation, which I'll just do, you know, in my spare time, it's kind of like clockwork. I don't really care that much about it. The big thing for me is just like being in the right headspace, having the right storylines coming into it, and having like also a unity with my talent team. So like, obviously like we're all best friends and it's important for us to all be on the same page. And if we're not quite on the same page, that's all right. Like if we have differing opinions on certain things, not a problem, welcomed. It's more about just like having the same understanding of where we're trying to go with the overall story. You know, we take things like that very, very seriously. We put a lot of work in behind the scenes to deliver a really good broadcast that's really informative and exciting and gets viewers excited about what we're going to be watching and what we are watching currently. So a lot of work like that, you know, I'm always on meetings, calls, doing homework with the boys, without the boys. I think
people would be pretty shocked at how much between, I'm just going to say talent, as in everyone who works on the show. And you could say Halo, but, you know, reference across esports. I think people would be pleasantly surprised at how much actual work goes in behind the scenes for exactly like you're saying, like between you guys getting on the same page for storylines and what you're going to talk about. It's very like, you know, obviously you have your rehearsal day before you go live, but most of the work's already been kind of done before, which
and it has to be done before as well. Like it just really does. Like you have to mentally, like it's a long day of talking non-stop. It's a long day of like, let's just say this. If you didn't do the preparation, you didn't do the homework, it's a long day of bullshitting your way, pretending like you do know. Which is very tough. That's a really hard thing to do. And I'm sure people do that in esports in terms of broadcasting. I'm sure that they do. Couldn't tell you who does it or what, but I'm sure that there are people who are trying to make their way to a better esport or an esport that they love.
Anywhere you go.
Yeah,
it's not just esports. It's just going to be a thing anywhere you go.
But like, you know, I definitely prefer putting in the time and homework to be very comfortable up there.
Probably a lot less stressful.
Yeah, it's way less stressful.
I say people would be surprised because even me, and like, you know, I've been around esports for a long time, until obviously we were dating and living together. I never really knew what kind of preparation went into it. So it's been definitely interesting seeing the other side of it.
Like it's very interesting as well, but like my preparation is definitely lessened, and that I don't want that to come across as bad. Like, it's not quite like that. But like, I'm so comfortable with my knowledge of the game that like I don't, like before when I was like first starting out, I would be like trying to get a really expert firm understanding of like the actual game, like itself, like the fundamentals, like there was just so much more homework that I needed to do to be what I needed to be and to want to deliver what I wanted to deliver. Now it's just like I understand the game so well that like it's more about the actual like dramatics of storylines rather than actual like gameplay understanding. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
So like I have less to do in that regard, which is nice, and now I can just focus on like the bigger kind of things, like the more exciting kind of
storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair to say. I mean, you just, you know, when you're first starting out, you're just learning everything, like everything.
I've probably done over 20 different games.
That's what I mean.
In my career.
You know, and you've always been that person to try to like just obtain as much knowledge as possible about the game. For a game like Halo, one that you've been around now for a long time. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like, hey, I just understand it more. So I actually, because you understand it more, you actually have to do less.
Yeah, no, 100%. I used to have like pages of notes,
say,
like, with like genuine like game like stuff in it, like game like related like understanding notes, like this means this or this, like really kind of just very basic but also not basic stuff that I was trying to force myself to understand. But really that just comes with time. And reps and watching hundreds and hundreds of hours.
I think that's normal. I mean, you can even reference that as a player. Like I definitely have to do, I'm still doing the same prep, but it's a lot less tedious than it probably used to be.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I feel you. It's just interesting how you grow, isn't it? Like in different ways. Another thing is, what do you and your team do before a match, after a match, and after a practice? So obviously at LAN, like, we'll just start off by like what the LAN experience is like. And like at LAN, obviously things intensify. You're in person, so you know, if you're like you I know that you tend to like to have a practice, don't you, at LAN, like to have a scrim if possible, because obviously it just like gears you in for example, something you're really good at is like screen watching, and like being able to then like take a lot more intel from your teammates because you're physically there watching their screens when you're on death cam and watching what they're doing and that kind of thing. So there's a lot more that goes into LAN, and to just kind of start easing back into that, you know, because at the end of the day it's like I can't imagine having played online the whole time, not being able to do that, and then going to LAN knowing you can do that. You have to then implement that back into your system, like how you play as a player. Yeah,
I used to like not want to scrim at all. Like back in like Halo 5, I never wanted to scrim, like out literally.
Choking on my own.
You okay?
Spit.
You all right?
Very good.
Yeah, in Halo 5, I didn't want to scrim at all, but with Infinite, really the main reason why in Infinite that I like to when we get to the tournament is because there's just so many settings. And there's so many settings, and your dead zones, and your offsets, and this and that, and this and that, and it's like, unless you're really playing, I think it's hard to get 100% dialed into it.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, I say back in the day, but I mean, you know, just I'm old.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in my day. You used to just be able to sit down, and it's just like change your sensitivity, boom, there you go, you're in. You know, now it's your UI color and offsets and dead zones and this and that. And, you know, before it wasn't like that. So I think there's a lot of benefit now to warming up, like you said too, with like screen watching and stuff like that. I mean, that's obviously.
So is that what you would do? So what's the first thing you would like do, game related? Like you get into the place, so you get into the event, you get into the room. What's the first thing that you do when you get to a setup, like
like a game day or like
warm up station?
Like media warm up day.
Let's say media warm up day where you potentially could scrim as well.
Yeah, I just go shoot bots right away.
Right.
I go to a setup, try to sit where I would typically at a station, and you know, you like recover your account or do whatever you got to do, and then just get all my settings right. I'm a head case that isn't a head case, because I used to, I used to be really bad when it came to like changing my controller settings and all kinds of stuff like that. I still do it a little bit, but I'm not as bad as I used to be. Like before, I used to be like really, really bad. Now I just try to find what's comfortable. I just shoot bots and, you know, try to find what sensitivity feels good.
Right.
You know, for the most part, I try to keep it all the same as online, but I tell people this all the time. It's like, look, I get it. You want to play the same settings that you play at a LAN tournament, or you want to play the same from online to LAN. But the reality of it is you're just going to a different environment, a different setup, a different, different ping, different that. It's like, at least for the way my brain works, I very rarely ever been able to play 100% the exact same from here to there,
No, it makes sense.
So just try to get that dialed in before we go play.
Before you even get to LAN, like when you're packing, like for like in terms of your game related stuff, what stuff do you pack? Like in terms of like what do you pack in your snakebite backpack?
Controllers, headset. I mean, really, it's kind of
wires. Like, how many wires would you bring? Like, do you bring a spare controller?
Yeah, I mean, I have minimum of 2 controllers in my backpack. One that I'll use, and then one that's a backup, 100%. Usually have spare wires. Not that I always do. It just depends. Headset, earbuds. That's kind of it. Missing anything? Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. I mean, it's just
hand warmers. Did you say hand warmers?
No, I started bringing hand warmers now.
I got him something pretty clutch actually.
Chargeable hand warmers.
Rechargeable hand warmers.
Very clutch.
That are electric. You can keep them in your pocket and just like hold on to them. They just stay warm, obviously, and keep them charged. Yeah. Which is really handy because he gets extremely cold hands.
I don't know why.
People would say bad circulation.
Bad circulation?
I would say that you're ice cold. Icy. I'm
going to go with that rather than bad circulation.
Yeah, no, but it's interesting. Like if people who, are looking for the open bracket and at the next major, and you're looking at, trying to really make it, it's interesting to hear like what you bring and what like that's what you have. Do you tend to eat a lot of snacks during match days? Do you bring snacks with you? If you do, what snacks do you have? It's funny because I'm asking these questions. I already know the answer to all this. But
yeah, I was gonna say.
I know, but
you help me get everything.
You help
me get everything ready to go.
Everyone else, what do you usually have?
A lot of granola bars or like protein bars. I can't eat like big before I play. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else like that. Feel free to comment if you are. Like, my stomach, I'm very like, it's funny. I always say I'm not like nervous to play at all. I'm just very like anxious.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah.
You know this. Like,
Yeah.
we're exactly the same. I'm
like
not nervous at
not
all,
nervous
but
to go do it.
eat.
Just like, not nervous to go do it. Just anxious in the sense that
I have
like
to
I
force
just
something.
I'm
down.
just anxious in the sense that like I just want to go do it.
Yeah.
And like when you wake up, like, you got a couple hours to go until you're ready to go play. So
well, let's be honest. You're not. Like, no matter what we're doing, like the two of us doing obviously two very different things, but in the same world. Again, similar type of like feeling and thought process and mental is that like we're not nervous, but it's not a comfortable situation that we're both in.
Yeah.
You're competing and having to show the whole world your individual skill and your team skill, and you're competing for something you care about, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of pressure. Then there's a lot of pressure on me. I'm having to speak to hundreds and thousands of people, and talk. It's like, it's not like we're scared, but it's like it's an uncomfortable feeling, and often lack of appetite comes with it. So
yeah, I always try to, and I think I've gotten it down pretty well now, where I always just try to have like fruit, protein bar, bananas, whatever, and then usually at the end of the night it's like, okay, have a nice dinner.
I'm so
a
excited.
milkshake.
A milkshake.
Yeah. Carb up.
Fun fact is this all started at Kansas City. So Kansas City last year, we, for some weird reason, were having milkshakes every night before bed. We were barely eating in the day.
I know
barely
why.
Eating in the day. And we were like hungry and obviously like needed some energy.
Yeah.
And we also don't have Sonic near us ever. Like it was my first ever Sonic. So we ordered a milkshake, didn't we? A Sonic milkshake.
Yeah.
And he was obviously playing like really, really well. The team was playing really, really well. So he's become superstitious. And now really you have a milkshake, don't you, in the evenings?
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually have. No, I don't actually have one. I will pull the receipts
from Uber Eats.
I don't actually have one. I'm just like, listen, I'm weird where like, I think we had it on Thursday night. Also, listen, no offense to Sonic, it's good, but we didn't really just keep ordering it because like it was great. There was nothing. There's no other food open. By the time we finish work, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and you got to eat something. It's like, well, it's either starve or order. Usually, it's some form of fast food for the most part.
Yeah.
The milkshakes, I will say, it's because head case. I think this is like actually like understandable.
Sorry, I'm just rearranging myself. My legs are going dead.
It's okay. I think it's actually understandable where like if I show up somewhere on, let's call it like a Thursday, and we have our media day and we're practicing and everything.
Yeah.
Obviously I'll have dinner at night, whatever it is, doesn't matter. If I wake up the next day and I feel really good and I play really good, like for the most part, I try to keep it the same, because the one thing that people don't really talk about when it comes to these events is that you're in a city that you don't know.
Yeah,
you're in a city you don't know, eating food that you don't know. We're not to the point yet where we're bringing like chefs with us and stuff like that. I know like I know golfers do that, and I'm like, I was like,
not
whoa.
to the point yet where we're bringing chefs.
No, because like golfers do that. For example, they have so they have like a really strict diet plan that they continuously follow. I'm sure athletes are like that, like in the NBA, NFL. Gaming, I mean, at least for Halo, I don't know about other esports, but we're not quite there yet where you're having the same thing. So yeah, I mean, it's a little, is a milkshake or something like that probably the best thing to have? Like, no, but
it worked.
It was working. It was working, and I was feeling good, and I was like, you know what, like.
Hey, look, it might boost your insulin levels at night, and it does something for you the next day.
Yeah,
like you have like reserved energy.
Well, especially with how little you eat the day before. I have to fit in.
Probably just resets you.
Yeah,
a bit.
How little I eat I say the day before, but from the morning to the evening.
Sorry guys, I have hay fever, allergies.
It's okay. They know.
Not everyone might know.
No, I have to fit in a decent amount of calories to feel decent the next day. Like I said, a milkshake's probably not the best thing in the world, but
this is true.
But if it worked, it worked. So.
Okay. So, how do you prepare? Sorry, hold on. I've already answered that one. What happens between matches? For you, and then I'll answer, because you said what are you and the analyst doing while the matches are going on, and I'll explain that in a minute. But what happens in between matches? Like, what are you and the boys doing if you've just come off main stage?
Yeah.
What do you do right away, like after that? What's like kind of the go-to?
Talk about what happened in the series,
and like a little team meeting.
Yeah, like usually we're still somewhat around each other. Talk about what happened in the series, the good, the bad. say if there's anything that needs to be tweaked, like, you know, just be like, hey, like, you know, we need to have a little better comms, or, you know, keep it a little more clear, you know, just something like that. And then for the most part, it depends on when we're playing. If we play pretty soon, it's like just hop right back on a warm-up station and for me and start shooting bots again. Just stay warm.
Yeah, love that. For me, in between matches, you will, if you're in there in person, you'll know that I stay on the desk the entire time. I literally don't have room to move because I have to follow the game closely. So I'll be watching the game up there. In our desk, we have monitors built in. Actually really hard to watch unless you're super tall. So clutch is all good. I'm not. I literally had to wear platforms to be able to see these screens. But they're built into the desk and they have screens. And we also get a screen like right in front of the camera too, so I can watch. And sometimes I'll even sit in front of the desk on the floor and watch the game there and take notes. And basically I'm just analysing all of the games, taking notes down, also speaking into production with Clutch as well, with West Price, to basically say like, oh, you know, we loved that moment in this series or whatever it was, like, can we clip that?
You're probably known as Clutch, not West Price.
West Price. And can we break that clip down? Do you have the clip? And like basically just, there's a lot going on in between games. It's not just us talking on air. There's a lot that goes on in between. Casters are a little bit different. Casters obviously, like, they can probably in between games be watching loosely. They'll be preparing for their next cast, so often they'll know what matches they've got coming up, and you'll see them often like in the green room working together, looking
research.
at stats, making sure like they know what they're going, especially on Saturday when you don't know what the matches are going to be. Obviously, like, we can prepare now for Friday's matches, which is fantastic and have done, but on Saturday and Sunday they're unknown entities, so we have to kind of like do it on the fly and do it on the go. So that's often what happens. There's a lot of work that comes even when matches are on. Like, it's not like I can breathe. It's literally like I'm going to sprint to the toilet. I have 30 seconds probably before the game loads, and then I'll come back and watch it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happens in between matches. And then I get back on, and often it'll be, I'll be thrown to a break afterwards. And then coming back again, and then it goes again and again and again.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's very intense of how much you guys have to be watching and paying attention and everything. You know, it's
a lot, but I love it. I just love it so much. I really do. And also actually another thing as well. Funny enough, because Trey said, "How do you keep up with what's going on with each?" And I think it means like I think maybe she's referring to like maybe all the matches that are usually going on, because sometimes there's multiple. And often I will literally have them on in different screens and keep an eye out and have a little look, or be fed information from production stuff in my ear as well. And they'll take note of that too. Because often we'll be then looking at another team afterwards, and I'll have to refer to what's just happened for them as well. So it's a lot of multitasking. And like,
I was going to say, I didn't even think about how like there's multiple games going on.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know what you do, obviously.
Like, say like SSG have been playing off on a side station, and then they're on next match against someone else. I have to then talk about what they just did. Yeah, so it's like it can be a lot
harder than my job.
Please, no, it's not.
I think so, personally.
Hard in different ways, darling, but not harder. I would argue that yours is way harder than mine. For both of us, what can fans expect to see if they're able to go to a live event? Now, I'm really excited about this question because I'm a big fan of LAN. I love it, and you know I do. I get so excited. I can barely sleep. Like, have not been sleeping like a week before. It's really bad.
You're crazy.
But what can fans expect to see if they're able to go to a live event? Sorry, everyone. Probably have a package, and it's probably mine. Probably Amazon. Is it?
Most likely. I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet.
Nothing on the ring. We have the ring, guys. Yet. Get a ring. Feel safe. We love the ring.
Not an ad.
Not an ad. Is it a package? No. It's just some crazy dogs.
Just dogs barking for people walking by.
What's the best way to meet your favorite player? So, what to expect at a live event? First and foremost, I would love to say that Halo do fantastic live events. They're really exciting. They're really entertaining. There's always multiple things to do. They bring in incredible vendors.
Yeah.
They have different setups. They allow teams to come in and supply merch and experiences and just really, really exciting stuff. They obviously accommodate streamers on site as well. So some of your favorite streamers could be there. You know, we've had Oath, we've had Nick, we've had Ubernick. Sorry, that is like Nick.
Yeah.
Ubernick. We've had, you know, tons and tons of people. We've had Scump, we've had Shotzi, we've had all sorts. We're actually having, actually, I don't know if I can announce this yet. So we're having 2 very, very exciting streamers coming to this event. I'm not sure if they've been announced yet, so I won't say
I don't
who
think
they
they've been
are.
announced. I don't even know who you're talking about.
Okay,
so.
cool. I'll tell you after.
I actually think I do know who you're talking about.
Okay.
But
I'm not going to give any clues.
So
either.
I think it maybe has been announced, but we'll leave it off.
We'll leave it off just in case, because I'm not sure if it has or not. But anyway, 2 very, very exciting streamers coming as well to DreamHack. But yeah, just like, it's just very, very entertaining. You know, they have like the old school Halo arcade games there that you can go in and play, and like they have the brand new ones as well. Just really, really fun stuff. So as well as the live event. Pretty much every event. Yeah, pretty much every event.
Yeah.
The only ones that they're not going to have here at DreamHack is the only one is going to be at DreamHack. They won't have it because it's DreamHack. So
it's a different venue.
Yeah, DreamHack will have its own stuff like that, basically.
And there's like CSGO matches going on.
Yeah,
like,
so
you know, DreamHack's
we're on a stage really close to like other esports.
DreamHack is its own gigantic thing.
Yeah, but I would say it's almost like Halo events almost kind of feel like a DreamHack because of those like vendors and experiences and stuff. But yeah, they're really, really entertaining, really, really fun. I gotta say, like, I love a crowd. I think being a part of a crowd is so fun and electric, and the like screams and yelling and chants and like just like it's just fun. I just love that.
I think if you're a big fan of the game, I think it's just one of those things that like when you finally get to attend, it's like whoa, like it's really, really cool. Really
and the main
cool
stage is stunning as well. Like the stage is beautiful.
Really well.
The lights, the screens, the like, honestly, like another thing I absolutely love when I take my in-ears out is I can hear the gunshots like echoing. Yeah. Like, you know, from the rooftops. So like all the in-game sounds, the shields being like super low, like depleted, and like just amazing, you know, just really, really freaking cool. So that is something that I love and that you can look forward to. And I think also just enjoying a sports like entertainment with your friends. Like say you're going to go with friends, because it's not often you go on your own, and you might go on your own and then meet friends there, which gaming's amazing for anyway. But I love that you can go and enjoy something like that with your friends. And like, you know, gaming's now so much more than just sitting at home. Like you can actually go and enjoy, you know,
be surrounded by people with the same interests. Be surrounded by people with the same interests. Fun.
Like you go watch it with your friends. Like it's just like it's an experience rather than just like, you know, watching it online at home, you know, on Twitch. So yeah, I absolutely love it. What about you for LAN? Because obviously LAN's very, very different for you. LAN is where you feel the most pressure and have to perform, and obviously all that exciting stuff is really just background noise for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, you know, you enjoy it as a player. I mean, obviously it's like the best environment you can have. I think after playing for so long and everything, it's just I just get kind of numb to it a little bit, where like I think I'm different too, where like I'm just very like from where I'm supposed to be to where, you know, to where I'm supposed to go, you know. So it's like warm-up station, main stage, warm-up station, main stage, side station, back to my room, you know. But it's just, you know, it's just a long weekend, you know, trying to save energy. Obviously we do like fan meet and greets and stuff like that, which we'll talk about in a second, but still love the environment. That's why we do it. You know, we're so lucky where so many people, you know, if the fans weren't there, I mean, we wouldn't be there either, you know. So just really appreciative of the fact that there's so many, and like even for me, like even it's easier to enjoy it when I'm not a part of it, if that makes sense, where like I love watching some series and like hearing the crowd get into it. Like it makes me really happy. Yeah. But when I'm playing, I don't really notice it or anything.
I was going to ask you, can you hear it on main stage?
No, I don't. I mean, you can definitely like
hear a buzz.
Yeah, you can definitely like, if someone's going off or something, like you can definitely hear some rumblings, but not like.
Because this is what sometimes, like if I watch you, obviously like, you know, everyone knows when I'm up there, I'm not biased at all. But like when I'm watching, it becomes very difficult for me, especially if I'm watching you. And there are parts, like say like, you know, obviously things are very close pretty much all the time with your team, whether you're winning or losing. But like if somebody on the other side, on the opponents, are popping off and the crowd goes nuts, I always think in my head like, oh my God, because like I think like, can they hear that? Can he hear that? Like, is he like, oh, like he knows like something bad's happened and the crowd's like gone wild, and it's just like, oh. And then obviously it's obviously the other way around as well for a lot of the time as well. You know, for you guys, like something goes nut. You know, one of you does something crazy, like your bloody rocket repulse. The crowd went wild. Like, could you hear that? Could you hear? Like, yeah. See, it's so funny. In my head, I'm going, like, yeah, like I don't know, like thinking like you're like, oh damn, yeah, you know what I mean? But like,
I just think it's a combination. I'm sure some players would maybe say that they do. Right. For me, I just I don't. I just, you know,
I wonder if anyone's ever just like slid their head, like they know they've done something good and they're just
not supposed to.
Yeah, I know.
You're not supposed to
because the casting, right?
Yeah, because the casting. I mean, I think like. I mean, you can definitely hear like after the game. If I like got up to use the restroom or something, I mean, it's inevitable. You're gonna hear the casters talk. Like, say with that play, like if I got up right after that moment, I'm gonna hear people talking about me. Right, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, but that's fair.
But in game, you don't hear it. I just have my team sound really loud. We wear sound canceling headphones and stuff like that. It's just not easy. It's not easy to hear. Like I said, you could tell something might have happened or might be going on, but overall you don't. And I think like for players, I think for the most part you're so locked into what you're supposed to be doing, communicating, trying to accomplish on the map that you just don't, you know.
No, that makes sense. I've always wondered that, actually. It's funny, I've never even asked you that before.
I'm sure younger players notice it a lot more.
Yeah,
because I think it's probably, I don't even remember, but I'm sure it's something that over time I've just become more and more like,
tuned.
Yeah, you're just like, just another day, you know. It just feels the same, and that's not taking it for granted by any means. Don't get it wrong when I say that, because I appreciate everyone being there and cheering, whether it's for us or for other people, and going nuts over other plays. But obviously the goal as a player is to just not necessarily know that that's going on, if that makes sense. Seeing
your fans like supporting you and like coming up to you, like Snake Pit, people who are like, you know, tuning into the podcast. You have people who are like not even necessarily in the Snake Pit, but just like really, you know, a big fan of like Halo and coming up to you. Does it like, does it not feed your ego, but just more like, you know, kind of just makes you like happy and smile?
It just makes me appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah, what you do.
Yeah, it makes me appreciate it a little more, especially now with, you know, I haven't been streaming lately, but typically when I've been consistent streaming, have loads of people from the stream who I love and appreciate so much. I've met some amazing friends from it. So, you know, getting to finally meet some of those friends in person, like you said, people coming up and just saying how much they love the podcast. Like make stuff that make, I mean, shout out to everyone listening right now, or watching. Just stuff that definitely makes me happier, happy to be a part of, where like it's not really like, it's just not like performance driven. It's not like, oh hey, like super big fan of your team or your gameplay, congrats on this or that. It's just like, oh hey dude, so nice to finally meet, like, you know, that's what, hey PJ, like so nice to finally meet you. And it's like, that's cool. I'm like, oh wow, that's really, that makes it a little bit sweeter for sure.
I love it. I love that.
Like I look forward to that way more than some of the other stuff that, you know, about gameplay and all definitely. That stuff, you know.
For fans who haven't met you before or want to meet you again and want to get another picture or want to talk to you, when's like the best time for them to do that? Like, you know, to approach you. Some people might not feel comfortable doing it or not sure if it's the right time. You know, a lot of people really value you and other pro players and might think that they're just bugging you or it's not a good time. So when would you say?
I think like one of the first things you can always do is just ask, whether it be someone working the event or ask a player. You could tweet them, are you guys doing a meet and greet this event? If they are, there's your perfect go-to. Like, you know, you don't need to worry about that at all, because it's literally scheduled, blocked out time. Otherwise, it's just, you know, it's just dependent on the person. If you can catch a player, like maybe after a series, low-key after they win especially. And it's funny because, like, that's not just, like, a mood thing, but it's also, like it's not just about someone being in a bad mood. It's because, like, after you win, you typically have less stuff to do. Like, you know, if you had lost, you might have to be, like, going over stuff with your team. Or if you lose, maybe you have to play a little bit quicker because you're dropped down in the losers bracket. So, yeah, I would say meet and greets are a big one. And then other than that, honestly, just, like, look for the player walking around. If you can catch them right after a series, like I said, if it's a win, even better. Most of the time, people aren't going to really turn you down or meeting people is super, super quick. I would say if you are meeting someone and
try not to take up so much time.
Even though it's really nice and like, I wish I could to talk to everyone forever. It's like
maybe not half an hour.
Yeah, like, you know,
keep it snappy.
And if you want
fair.
and if you want to have that conversation, you can maybe introduce yourself and say, hey, like, when you have a couple more minutes, like, I would love to talk to you about whatever it is, you know, about so and so. And then if the player will have time, they'll be like, oh no, you know, I got a couple minutes now, or they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll try to catch you later, you know. But yeah, overall it's just kind of meet and greet, or literally just go up and say hi. Don't be intimidated. No player's gonna scream at you or yell at you. They'll, you know, either say absolutely. I think 99.9 will say absolutely. And if there's ever someone who turns you down, there's probably a reason. You know, no one's gonna be personal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, if anyone wants to come say hi, no, I'm joking. But if anyone does ever want to come say hi, you're more than welcome to come over to where the desk is. Obviously, like, this is the one thing I will say that a lot of people forget. You can't come up on the desk. Lots of people try to come up on the desk, and security will shut you down ASAP. Like, because, you know, it's our space, it's a broadcast space, there's a lot of expensive equipment up there. But also just to help us, like, separate ourselves. Like, we are in the middle of the crowd, you know? Course. So, like, that's the only thing I would say is, like, don't come up onto the desk or expect to come up on the desk. Usually for a photo, I'll come down or I'll crouch down or something. But yeah, I'm very chill. So, like, you can come say hi. That's what I mean.
Like, saying hi and, like, taking a photo takes literal seconds. You know, it's not, you're not going to catch many people who.
I was asked once, I had somebody come up to me once and say, hey, you know all the pro players, don't you? And I said, yes. Kind of. Like, relatively well. Like, yeah, kind of.
I guess.
And they were like, they pulled out this giant poster with this marker. I went, could you get all of the top 8 to sign this? This is in the middle of my day. And I looked at the guy, like not please, nothing. Like, not even, didn't even say it nicely. So, like, there's that, right? Yeah. I looked at him and I went, dude, do you think I'm just chilling up here? Like, do you think I'm just doing nothing? He goes, I don't know what you do. I went, oh, okay. I said, well, I'll tell you something. I can't do that. I was like, so you either catch them when they're running back and forth to the loo, but I can't help you, sir. And then he, like, didn't say anything, just took it back, you know, took the poster back, because he was handing me stuff while he's explaining stuff. Took the poster back, turns around. I like turn around. Wes is looking at me laughing, and I shook my head. I was like, oh my God, like, some people, like, what the hell? And then he comes back, excuse me. So I turn around thinking, like, oh, maybe he's going to apologize and, like, redeem himself. No. I turn around and went, yeah. And he goes, could you get Walshy to sign this then? And I was like, no. I was like, absolutely not. Leave me alone. Like, you just pissed me off.
Just find Walshy. Like, what? Like, what do you?
It takes a lot to piss me off. But, like, I was just like, you're so rude. Like, are you for real?
Yeah, that was a little bit on the rude side for sure.
No, you go find Walshy.
Can you get every player to sign this for me? Like, dude, I'm working here. Like,
it's funny because later on in the day, Walshy's on the desk with me. I see him approaching. And I thought, Jesus, SMH, man. And then he went round and Walshy signed it, and Walshy's like smiling afterwards, and I'm thinking, God damn it, like, so annoying. He's so annoying. But good luck getting all the top 8. You ain't getting all of the top 8. There's no way that you're getting all of them to sign it.
You can get it.
No,
you got to be, like, on point though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you'd have to, like, not pay attention to anything. Like, you'd be by that backstage, like, entrance the whole day. There's no way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd have to be there to not watch a lot.
Yeah.
To catch everyone.
Well, I think that's why he was trying to fast track. He was trying to be like, you know what? She doesn't look busy.
Yeah. That's rude.
So funny.
So that was rude.
I was like, I am probably the busiest person here. Like, you've got to be joking me. Like, there's no way. Like, you have to be, like, can't be serious. But yeah, that was a very interesting experience. So don't do that.
Definitely don't do that.
I'm happy to sign a poster for you, and, you know, encourage the boys to sign it and stuff, which I've done before. They're like, you know, could you sign this? And, like, could you ask them? And I'm like, of course I can. Like, I don't, you know, they don't want to be, like, screaming up at us and individually, and I'll be like, yeah, boys, sign this, you know. That's absolutely fine. It was just, like, being asked to get someone, the entirety of the top 8 teams, every single player on the top 8 teams.
That's bad.
So let me go backstage and work my ass off to get people to sign this. Like, what the hell?
I think like you said, like, asking to be like, you know, if Wes is up there, like, hey, would you ask Clutch, like, you know, if you're, you know, something like that.
Of course. Like, the only reason I turned down the Walshy thing is, first of all, Walshy was nowhere near me, right? I had no idea where he was.
Well, and then the rudeness how it started. Probably
and
didn't
I was
help
just like,
either.
you know what? No, screw you.
Yeah.
You don't want me to sign?
Yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah.
No, it was just a really
Didn't
weird
ask you to sign either?
No.
Oh,
No.
it was just, yeah.
I was just like the chosen female at the time. Like, please do this for me.
That's
no.
That's a bit
I'm not
rough.
doing that to you.
Yeah.
For you. Just not happening. But it was funny because some people are very, they're just naive, right? You know, like just don't understand what they're doing or like how rude something can be. And it's just like not valuing my time at all.
Yeah.
Or like what I'm doing. But it's just funny.
I think
It was just a funny story.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's like one of those cases of like, you know, probably means no harm by it, but just isn't really understanding why that is a rude.
100%.
You know what I mean?
He definitely didn't think two things of it.
Yeah.
At all. Like at all. But hopefully you learned a lesson that day. But it was just funny. It was just a funny story, honestly.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, who is this guy?
No. Probably didn't learn anything. Yeah. Probably has no idea.
Actually, I already know. He definitely didn't because he came back.
Yeah. They're coming back the second time and asking for Walsh. She's like, no, you didn't get it.
He definitely
I thought, yeah. I mean, honestly, it made it even worse. Like, not that like, I mean, I know you don't care if someone asks or doesn't ask for your autograph or whatever,
I don't
but
care.
the thing of like not asking you and then like just trying to get you to get every person to sign is like,
if the first thing he
I
said
don't
to
know
me was
what.
like, if he came up and the first thing he said to me was, hey, like, do you think you could get Walshy to sign this? I'd be like, you know what? I'd be like, give me 1 second. I'm not joking. I would have looked at our caster rotation, be like, Walshy's coming up in 2 games time.
Like,
come back then, and I will get him to sign it for you. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about not signing it. I couldn't care less, right? And if you want me to sign something, I'm bloody honored. Like that's how I feel. It's more like I'm honored to sign something.
Just a politeness to it, like to this kind of thing.
I ain't going around the building.
Yeah.
Hunting down. I can't do quick math, but 8 times 4. I'm not doing it. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
So it just I don't.
I mean,
know.
I think I think it's crazy to ask of anybody.
It's just nuts, isn't it?
It's just, I can't even imagine.
I was like, excuse me.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what do you think I do up here?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's pretty disrespectful.
Yeah, it's a funny story though.
Yeah.
So, but LAN is a fun place. LAN is a fun place. I love it.
Don't be rude.
I think that's all right.
The large majority. I was gonna say most events I've attended, the large majority of people are obviously nothing but nice. So
everyone,
you know,
I'm not joking. For like, it's a rare occurrence. Somebody is horrible. Like, honestly,
and usually
rare,
it's like,
rare.
And honestly, if someone is like that, it's kind of like what you said. It's like they're not intending.
He wasn't even horrible.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's just so
non-intentional.
Yeah.
It was non-intentional. You know.
It was rude, but it's like, do you know what I mean?
In
it
an
wasn't
innocent
nasty.
way.
It wasn't horrible.
In an innocent way.
In a very silly, innocent way.
Yeah, exactly.
But just like, but, you know, there's always going to be someone that kind of messes up a little bit.
Well, it's a lot of people from a lot of different areas.
Lost his chance to get Walshy. Actually, he did get
Walshy. That's not true.
He did it.
The whole top 8, though.
He wouldn't have. There's no way. I know he's still
What day was that?
Ooh, I couldn't tell you. I can't remember.
That had, was that on Friday?
It was at Worlds, by the way.
Oh, is that
This
Worlds?
was at Worlds.
Oh, wow.
And I was wearing purple that day. So what day was that? 2? Day number 2?
Yeah, was day 2 or 3?
No, not 3. 3 was a big sparkly.
Oh,
number.
right. Day 2 then.
Love that outfit.
Right.
Day 2. It was day 2.
No wonder why he was asking.
Why?
It's almost over.
Yeah,
it's crunch time, and you want to get everyone in the top 8. I mean, you gotta be pulling some strings.
True.
He's like, by day 2, he was like, all right, I messed up.
That's the thing. Problem is, day 2, he's pulling a rubber band. It went right back into him because I was not happy with it.
But did you think he went and asked like, Sure's next or something? Like,
probably. I would not be surprised if a couple of the boys were asked.
Yeah.
He'd probably like, there's a rude chick up there. She won't go and get these autographs for me. She won't help me at all. She's
horrible. You do it.
She's horrible. She told me she's really busy.
That's funny though.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, like, what if he didn't get a single players on day 1 and he's just scrambling? Like day 2, he's like, damn it, like, you know.
It probably was scrambling. Yeah. To be fair.
Got to pull something out of the cards to get.
The worst part is he so dumb. We're still talking about this. He
not only
handed me the bloody poster, but he opened it as well. And I was like, okay. And then didn't ask me to sign it. I was like, okay, no worries. Like, yeah.
Well, that poster's for the players.
It was for the players.
Exactly.
And Walshy.
Walshy's.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying. But he's trying to get me to do his dirty work.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
carry the OBJ.
Yeah.
OBJ Player of the Year, LVP.
I'm like, I ain't on your team, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not on your team.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a tough one. That's
not,
it's like
not
I
only
said.
that, I feel like
it was innocent, but
like, tell me if I'm wrong here, but the part of like getting the autograph is the process of getting the autograph. Surely.
yeah, I would think so.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I would think so.
Would it not be better to get like
I
LeBron
don't know.
James
People-
to sign your thing with you there, signing
Yeah.
it, watching him do it, than buying his autograph?
I think you would pick. I think you would pick getting it over buying it.
Yeah, so
you
put the
know?
work in, my friend.
Yeah.
Put the work in. Go hunt Walshy down. You did. And I'll tell you what, I bet you're a better man for that. I bet you're well happy that you now can look
Felt
at that poster
like achievement.
and you go, Walshy signed that for me. And he looked me in the eye and went, yeah, sure I will.
Damn.
Anyway, this is so dumb. Literally, this has been way too long. The bloody chapter's going to go, terrible story about when Lottie was asked to go,
Yeah.
go get the top 8 to sign an autograph. Ridiculous story for like 10 minutes. But what we're trying to say is there are some really fun things that happen at LAN. Don't be afraid to come up to me. Don't be afraid to ask for an autograph from any of my
Just
colleagues.
don't ask for all the top 8
Don't
players.
ask the whole of the top 8.
I think that's
for
the
me
moral of the
for me
story.
to go around and sign the whole top 8 for you. It's just it ain't happening.
Listen, for the record, don't ask me that either, because I'd be like, no, there's not a chance.
There's not a chance in hell.
Listen.
Imagine you going to
I have a hard enough time getting my team to sign stuff, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because they'll sign it. You know, like it's the same thing I said. Every player will literally sign anything for you. It's like half the time, like I don't know where they are. Some of the times, people be like, "You get Roll 2 signs." I'm like, Roll 2's asleep. Like he's not here. Like I don't know.
Roll 2 is asleep. Yeah. I mean that's totally fair enough. Like, could you get like a part of your team? I understand people asking that.
I never
Do you know what I mean?
have a problem of people asking on my team. I have never have a problem with people asking. It's just like. It's only if it's like I don't. It's like you said. Like if they're near me, I'm like, oh yeah. Like I'll get him for you. You know, he's right here, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like you said. It's like, can you bring this here to get someone to sign it? It depends on what it's for.
Then you're responsible for
someone's property. Someone's property
thing that they bought. You know.
I've done that for. I know this sounds like bad, but like obviously there'll be like kids attending the event, and like they'll ask like, hey, could you get your team to sign this? I'll take like the poster and do it, but. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like favoriting.
Moral of the story: bring your 4-year-olds.
Yeah,
get them to walk up to people.
No, it's just because it's like you get it. I mean, it's just like I think I said like it also depends like to what you're saying. It also depends.
Well, it depends on where they are. If you know that they're at the warm-up station and you're close-ish by to the warm-up station, you're like, I could go take this here. I think it's different. When your teammates are like kind of in the hotel or one of them's grabbing lunch or one of them's here and they're like scattered, that's when it becomes a bit difficult because later on you don't know where you're going to be in half an hour.
No.
Like you can't be responsible for someone's property and you're trying to play.
Yes,
I mean, my God.
absolutely. And that's what I'm trying to say is like if you ask me to get other people to sign it, like my team, if I know where they are, I will always try to do it. As long as I don't have to be somewhere or do something, I'll always try to do it. But some of the times people do.
Yeah.
You know, and I get why it's hard at events to go up to people and stuff like that. So, but it's
But yeah, we've really gone in depth about signing things here. Really in depth.
It's interesting.
It is. Is it interesting, folks? Let us know.
I think it's interesting. I think that story is. I thought that story is hilarious. Like if you get everyone in the top 8 to sign it, that's crazy. I haven't had that. I've only had people ask about my team or like someone that I know. They'll be like, "Hey, do you know where APG is?" And I'm like, "No, but." I'm sure he's going to be here soon, you know?
He'll be with me on main stage soon.
Yeah. We're playing him we're playing him this time. Catch him then, I guess.
Love APG.
My guy.
Love APG. Love APG's dad.
I didn't get to meet APG's dad last event.
He comes up to me regularly.
I'm bummed out about it.
He comes up on the desk to me regularly and says
hello. Has he been to multiple events or no?
Yeah. 2 now. 2.
I don't think I've met him. I'm trying to think.
You might not have, babes.
I don't think I've met him.
You might not have. He's in the crowd and he walks around. He's adorable. I literally love him. He's so sweet. He's so lovely and so sweet. And he comes up to me, has a real good chat. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Love him. Big shout out to APG fam. But yeah. Is there anything else that we can say about LAN before we round things off? We went on a massive tangent.
By the way, don't take anything that we said as being afraid to go up to anyone because what we're saying is extreme stories of.
But it's just funny and
it was sarcastic. They'll get that.
You're more than welcome to come up to people, and come say hi and come ask for an autograph. Anything like, and again, it's not a problem doing favors. Just be like, I think it's just a bit more like keyed in on what kind of favors you're asking people to do and like maybe what they have to deal with on like a. you know, a LAN tournament that they've been gearing up for months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's just one of those things. It's being sociable and socially acceptable in terms of what you're doing.
Well,
but most people are socially aware. There we go.
Yeah,
Socially aware, not acceptable.
Yeah.
Socially aware. That's the one. That's the one, babes.
word.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Your
I got
mustache
you.
looks so good.
Thank you.
Been staring at you for a while.
Thank you. You're great.
I don't think there's anything else that I can really think about. And I feel bad if I'm missing anything, but yeah, it's just wicked. Oh, the other thing that I would say is really cool is obviously you do have the main stage, but you do have side stations that you can go watch, and they get rowdy as hell as well.
Yeah.
Love that. And you get really close to the players there. So if you're one of those like player sniffers and you want to be really close and like see their thumbs twiddling, go to the side station.
That just sounds wrong.
Go to the
player
side station.
sniffers. That sounds so like, don't ever say that
You want
again.
to smell the sweat dripping off their brow.
No.
You are very close though.
You are close. I mean, like I get what you mean. I get what you mean, but like it's
a phrase. It's a phrase. A player sniffer. It's just a phrase.
I don't like that phrase. I don't like that phrase one bit.
Luckily for you, you smell amazing.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
Absolutely incredible.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, side stations are really cool because obviously it's like it's very I would say
closest
not quite
closest you're probably gonna
ever get to
while they're playing.
while they're playing for sure.
Yeah.
But they are really cool.
Yeah.
They're really, really cool. I like the side stations as well.
It's changed.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it used to just be like.
Well, it used to be like a bit open bracket, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe like the MLG main stage. Like if you go back to like all the way to 2010, it was like, I mean, you'd be playing here and you'd have people like right there.
Next to you, yeah.
It's usually reserved though. It was like usually like friends and like right next to you would be like friends and family.
Kind of cool
like
though.
That.
Kind of reminds me of like game shows that a little bit, just a tiny bit.
With like the bleachers in front
of
you. Really, but it's like really enclosed.
Close.
You know what I mean?
That reminds me of like game shows a bit and what they look like.
It's crazy because it's like a giant arena, or like it was, because obviously it's not anymore. But well, it's still a giant arena. But the way it was set up, you know, it's like it was a giant convention center. But then with how that format was like you felt really enclosed. It was crazy. Yeah. But now it's like you feel that way now, but it's more of like. You know, it's just like it's like just the way the stage is built, just like your team, like you're really close, if that makes sense.
Do you, comfortability wise of like gaming, like I always try and think about this, like when we're heading to LAN and I like watch you like setting up on stage and I know you're setting up, and I always think to myself, bloody hell, like, you know, like I find it hard like playing in places that I would probably not be comfortable with, like for example, like when, you know, I've been gaming down here for a while, I feel very comfortable gaming, and then I go upstairs and it's just a very different environment and I'm gaming and but it's a tad different. You know what I mean? It's still comfortable, it's in our bedroom, but like still a bit different. And I think to myself, holy crap, like you guys are going from this station to this station to this station to blah 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 to whatever, to lights in your eyes, to then being in the pitch black warming up, and then to being here and whatever, and then the main stage where you're in front of hundreds and hundreds of people playing, being filmed, and like in front of your opponents as well now. It's just very different. So like, do you feel like your playing ability kind of changes and stuff, like because of the environment you're playing in, like where you're at different stations and different locations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it depends on the person. You know, it's like I always say, I think it just depends on the person. Some people probably play better with more people watching. Some people might play worse with more people watching. For me, I just feel about the same. The hard part for me, and we don't got to dive too much into this because it's too much of a conspiracy theory. The hard part with me is like I feel like stations feel different. And if you ask a lot of pro players, they'll say the same thing because, you know, you're going from different PCs to different PCs. I think that's one thing in gaming that I think is taking a little bit of like not like a bad turn, but like it takes some getting used to. I don't remember. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I felt that way back in the old Halo 2 and Halo 3. Yeah, there was a big thing. Like I remember, he was like literally, I think Robbie B, one of my old teammates, brought it up. Was like you would go in Halo 3, you would go play on a station, and like one would feel a lot smoother than the other. And like his theory was that it came down to like the I'm trying to think of what they're called, like, you know, like the hub, like the connector, or like, you know, like where the internet ports go into. You know, they like wouldn't be reset, or some are using more lines than others. Like there's a whole big conspiracy theory into it. not like it's like bad now. Like I just think that it's like I said about getting used to setups. I think it's just kind of but I think that the reason why I say it's a little more of a factor now is because it can get into your head. You could be like, ooh, like this one doesn't feel super smooth, or if you we've had situations where players' frames randomly start dropping, and then we have to get like all new PCs in, and it's like, well, then you have to recover. It's just like just a whole different deal, isn't it?
It's technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having to like be able, it's hard because like what you guys do, that's a little bit different from sports people. And I know it's the whole like, comparing something to, comparing gaming to sports again. But like, you guys have similar,
in terms of high level,
similar kind of, in terms of careers and stuff, it's a similar type of thing, obviously different, but similar. It's interesting that you guys don't only have to rely on your individual skill and like how good you are at a game. You actually have to rely on the game, what you're playing the game on, what you're playing the game with.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that goes into, especially at your level.
Yeah.
A comfortable playing environment.
Yeah, look at like Spartan. I mean, it's one of the worst things I've seen happen is like 2018 Worlds. His control, he was getting sniped and he was sliding out, and his controller disconnected, and like it was the whole thing of they basically said it's like your equipment, so it's on you. From his perspective, he didn't do anything, so like why did it but this is the thing, I've been in a situation where my stuff just randomly stops working, and then the next day it works, but it's technology, you
have to rely on so much.
It's like
more.
You said, there's a lot of factors that go into it,
and it's understandable why you guys could head case about it as well. It's very understandable.
It's like interesting because like sports to esports, like, so then it's so funny how like the different, because then like the big thing in the NBA right now, like the NBA, they're wrapping up and about to go to the finals. We have the game 7 tonight, Heat versus Celtics. Sorry, Jay, if the Heat lose, by the way.
Sorry.
But the big thing is like the refs playing such a big part in these series and stuff like that. And like in gaming, you don't necessarily have that, but then you have the other way where it's like, like in Call of Duty, they'll be like, they'll have a day where only one side of the station or the one side of the stage will win the whole time, and they'll be like check that side, that side's frying, like I mean, I remember Formal talking about it, and like I forget what Call of Duty would have been. Maybe if you guys are listening, you can comment in the YouTube section or tweet us. They used to say like certain PS4s felt better than other ones, like it's a whole, but it's like it's you said, a
rabbit hole, but it just makes sense why you'd feel that way.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's not even just about feeling that way. It could be that way,
but you don't necessarily know. But I think players know.
Well, I mean, you guys have hours and hours and hours doing the same thing. So it's like
we were told, and you don't say anything about this because this is about game development. We were told, like heavy aim in Halo 5.
Yes.
So our team specifically were basically called head cases and like weirdos for like a year, because like Royal 2 is sitting there going, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Like this does not feel correct. This something is wrong. And the developers denied. No, it's not a thing. And then someone on, if you're an OG Halo fan, you probably know it, the Team Beyond forums, it's shut down. I'm pretty sure it's shut down since. It's definitely not part of Halo anymore. At least I don't think so. Someone went and proved it, and then I was like, that's when it hit me. I was like, damn. Like, so when Formal said anything about the PlayStations, and people, I think Formal was the one who said it, and people are like, no way, you're head casing. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think like, I don't know. It's hard to say though, because maybe you are. Because maybe you are head casing.
I just think it's like you never know. You never know. But I think I just feel like there is obviously like background to why you're head casing as a pro player. Like, there has to be background to it. It can't be just for nothing. There's
context to it.
100%. So it's like,
these games
I don't think you can blame yourselves for head casing.
Yeah.
And you might have a valid reason. You might not have a valid reason. Like, it might not be a thing, but I think it's understandable why you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
So I think like it just is like, it's one of those things.
We have trust issues. All these games coming out are just causing gamers.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because like the further games are developed in terms of technology and how smart games are and how incredible games are, and like how sharp and crisp and this and that, and the more performance that they're trying to kind of push, and the newest thing and the next technology of this and this new engine and stuff like that. I feel like the more problems arise, like the perfection that needs to come across because of so many now, different things that you're trying to implement because of the way technology is growing and expanding. And it just like, I feel we've got to this kind of part of esports and gaming where like there's so much expectation, and rightfully so, and I understand why, because like back in simpler times it was easier to kind of fix stuff because it just wasn't as much to focus on, like it was just so much more simple. Now it's just so complicated.
I say it all the time. Obviously I lean on the side of favoring with like the gamer, obviously, because that's me. But I don't envy developers at all for what they have to do and what they have to go through. And like, I'm sure the difficulties of trying to get these games to come out perfect on all these different platforms and all these different, for PC, you're talking ranges of different technologies in the PC, and you need it to run perfect. It's a crazy time.
I'm looking at the time and I know that our thing is going to run out very soon. So we probably need to wrap this up because I don't want it to just
It's been like an hour?
It's been an hour and 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a very long episode.
Oh, wow.
But folks, I hope you guys are absolutely excited for LAN. If you don't watch Halo Infinite competitively, I will encourage you to tune in, not just so you can see my mug on there talking to you guys, but it's just really, really good. The competition level is amazing.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful mug that you can get right now at the Snakebite store. So make sure you pick up a lovely mug like this one, which actually is legit available.
Listen.
Yeah.
To what LVP is saying, now's the time to start watching because we're through all the large online gauntlet that we're going through. We haven't had a tournament since February. We have this. This is technically like a qualifier, and then we go into our major pretty soon after, and then we have another one later. Like it goes pretty quick now. So tune on in.
Winter is coming. We're there. We're ready.
That's actually true. I mean, you said that sarcastically, but winter is technically
coming.
On its way, yeah.
It is. But yeah, really exciting stuff. Let us know if you have any questions. Tweet us as well. Like, let us know your opinions. Have a conversation with us as per always in the comments. We love the comments. You guys are incredible. And we really appreciate you and your support. Just everything since we kicked the podcast back off again. So thank you guys so much. Wish us the best of luck at LAN. We're going to need it as always because it's a big time for us. Best of luck, babes. I'm very proud of you already.
Thank you.
Know that. Can't wait to watch you.
I'm excited to get back to it.
Can't wait to watch you.
We have like I said, we got a whole big stretch coming up now, so I'm excited to.
You've been working so hard. Yeah. You've been putting time in. Very, very proud of you.
Thanks, baby. Proud of you.
Thanks very much. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, hope you have the most amazing week. If you guys are going to be at the LAN, I'll see you at DreamHack. We'll see you at DreamHack. Come say hi. Come get an autograph. Not the top 8 though. And thank you so much for tuning in. And as
are we rating
always,
our coffee?
Oh, sugar, yeah.
Quickly. It's a 7 for me.
It's a 7? Yeah. Oh, well, this is the best ever black coffee I've ever had. And I think it's because it's a light roast. Yeah, and now maybe I'm a light roast black coffee drinker.
I've been this entire episode, I've been in a little bit of a blender because it's a light roast. And I say it's a 7 because obviously it's just black coffee.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it, and I definitely taste the notes in it. Yeah. But now I'm in a blender because I thought this whole time I really don't enjoy light roast at all. Yes. But I've enjoyed that cup.
I'm giving that an 8.2 because I love this, and I'm pleasantly surprised with the light roastness of it. But black is delicious. So yeah, super, super easy to drink. I've basically finished the whole thing. Massive shout out to Paper Street Coffee. Thank you so much for sending over all of the bags. And I'm rushing so that we don't get cut off. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, stay on the grind. Dun 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 dun.